I mean, I guess it would be a difficult thing to be a new teacher coming out of school knowing you have student loans and everything else and get a job, and it's like, but it's only for a year. So, I don't know.
I had the same question, I guess, with that, and reached out to a couple of people, and I guess it's more common than we know of. And I remember that also Mr. Green at that time it used to be more of a common practice when he was here. So I guess we got away from doing it. I don't think I hate to see anybody leave, but yeah, I was of the same mind of what you said. I mean, is it common practice? Is it not? I mean, is it, but it's more common than I guess we think it is.
My question, I'm sorry, I have a question about, you talked about special education, especially dealing with kids with autism as such a commodity, but yet there are two names on here that I know have experience dealing with that population. And yet we're going to be honorably discharging, is that the term?
No, it's a dismissal.
Dismissal.
Non-renewal. And so we got to be very specific in our language.
But
dismissal, non-renewal. And here's what I could share with you. The administration needs to know the direction of the board. I need to know which scenario, which will then trigger the direction that the administration is going to staff.
But that doesn't answer the question, is that we have two people that are on this list that are familiar with the district, that are familiar with our, policies, practices, all that good stuff, who have a special education background. I mean, and you make reference to additional 2 kids that are going to be coming, but yet they're a commodity, but yet we're not renewing 2 of them. That
I understand.
Doesn't quite make sense in my head.
Any other board comments? We'll open it up for public participation. You please sign in. If you just some ground rules, please. Please state your name, your full name. You have 5 minutes, and please be respectful to everyone in the crowd. Thank you. Not referring to you. I mean everyone on that list.
Okay. I'm Tim Liston. The past few meetings have been a real advocate of trying to look at the big picture. How long is transition going to take? This and that, and you guys got a lot on your plate tonight. So my only, I'm going to keep it short. My only thing is a question for the board. Is earlier in the year with the huge referendum that was tried, we had a PAC, we had meetings, we had stuff going out. The community has asked for transparency, which you're appearing to be more transparent and be out there. So with a little over a month left until the election, and we are putting a question on for a very needed, reasonable referendum, going on from tonight, what steps does the district, the superintendent, the board have set in place to be transparent to what that money is going to go for, so we stand the best possible shot of getting that ever needed money?
I guess I'm answering the question. So number one, the board nor the superintendent can, and it depends on when it actually takes place. The board cannot officially take a position on a referendum. So we legally cannot say, we legally cannot tell you how to vote. I'm very, very, very cautious because the film is running. So we cannot tell you that you need to vote a specific position. So that's illegal. Second thing, the board is not involved in forming PACs in any way, shape, or form. PACs are formed by people such as yourself, who are passionate, who love your school, who believe in it, where you, Tim, will team up with Gus or Chris or whomever, and you'll basically file the paperwork to become a 501c3, and you will basically design your message, however the message is that needs to be designed. For example, the previous, I'm going to call it PAC, filed their paperwork. They came up with their own message. They came up with their own website, from my understanding. They raised money. They went out there. They spoke, and I can't really speak to anything beyond that. And I think the last thing I'll leave you with is I think we need a decision, because based on my experiences of what, like 39 presentations, people need to know what the decision is. And so getting out there and telling them, I don't know, to whether or not we're grade centers or whether or not we're removing programs is very difficult, and it makes it seem as if I'm not educated on the issues. It becomes a distraction from the reality, and the reality is the 1.25 million that we've placed on the ballot, which equates to $93 on a $100,000 home, is what we're asking for to maintain, in addition to the $750,000 in cuts, is what we need to maintain our programs to prove fiscal responsibility in the public. However, based on what we're talking about with Jennifer and Christian and the communications committee, my next steps, based on the vote tonight, is to talk with the mayor and look at some opportunities for improvement, and then quite possibly schedule some appearances where we can share with the community what those increases may or may not mean.
That's more what I was looking for. After tonight, based off of the decision,
Yeah.
whether it's scenario 4 or 5, this is needed regardless. And we had so many town hall meetings, and you put in time. I was wondering, I know you're stressed and you're all using a lot of time, but it's really, it's needed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan of action.
It's needed. That's why I want to make sure
That's the
that,
plan of action
because it hasn't been
tonight.
mentioned in the past. I just want to make sure that the full effort was going to be going forth for this.
Yeah.
So thank you.
We would never distract you from becoming a volunteer, Tim, or filing for a 501c3. In fact, we would encourage that. We can encourage that. So if you want to get together with people who are very passionate, by all means, you could do so. I know there's some experiences from people that are 2 or 3 rows behind, and it's very tiring, very time consuming. And I could share with you that it's highly likely that you'll be attacked in some way, shape, or form because you're increasing my taxes. So, thank you.
Riley Murray.
How do you plan to communicate this to the new parents or community in general? Whatever scenario is chosen, how are you going to communicate this?
I guess it's me again. Okay. So at our previous meeting, it was February 16th. It was a special meeting that we held at Giles. We had an architect who performed a feasibility study, and in the feasibility study, he had outlined a skeleton plan of how we are to communicate with the parents, starting with literature that we're going to send to the parents. It could be in the form of Facebook. It could be in the form of snail mail, as well as informational meetings that we would schedule over the next 2, 3, 4 months to assure that we are sensitive to their position, but at the same extent making sure that they can make the transition seamlessly. But it just depends on which scenario, right, Riley? So I'm not really sure if it's scenario 4 or scenario 5 because those are going to be slightly different messages.
I still don't think it's effective how you're communicating. Do you have any other ways that you think you're going to get the message out? It's just hard to find. I find out through other parents that I know where my daughter goes to preschool, but it's hard to just get anything out in the community. I don't know. Does anyone else feel this? I'm a new parent, so I don't have any kids. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I because I have kids at daycare. At the same time, I see her children. I've let her know what I know, and I see her point. So I wanted to ask, and part and parcel to that, could I know this sounds funny, like posters, bulletin boards? I'm sure will things like that be along with snail mail, along with emails, along with robocall.
I mean, email's great. Everyone has their phone. I mean, Facebook is not. It's not what I'm looking for, but something that you would use for work. I mean, even having something at Mariano's, I don't know, just a form that would more easily inform people that aren't already in the school system. Most of you probably already have kids that are already going to Giles or Lee, but are new in the area. I think it's really difficult to kind of navigate this new process and really understand how we can get involved, how we can help, and what is expected of us. And what are you guys doing? You know, this is a little overwhelming.
Yeah, what part of the board is responsible for getting stuff like that?
Communications.
We're
We're looking for
Are you
volunteers.
singling us out? 'Cause we're-
I'm
Okay, just
no,
wondering.
I'm kind of playing a little coy, but really, the superintendent keeps answering, but at some point the board has got to answer that too, and
But we
so it
do.
started taking me guessing, and
The reality is we, yes, are charged with informing the community, but we have no money. We have no money. I would love to put posters up. I would love to do flyers. I would love to do that kind of stuff. But
I don't need
yeah.
like mail. I mean, like literally.
no,
you
like
can just
posters.
sign up
We've
and
talked about posters
There's
at.
no email. Like literally, if you're taking names, I could have put my email down. Like we could have a database of all the parents that are current, that are coming up, that are at the park district. We all have to sign in. We all have this account. Why don't we take this database and actually utilize it and blast people with what's going on? I don't need, something in my mailbox. Don't waste your 47 cents.
We-
Like,
So we do have something similar in place already. We send email blast out. We do robocalls. We do inform through the media as much as we can, as detailed as we can. But again, we have to be fiscally responsible. If we want to go that route, it's going to be cost, and money is not our forte at the moment.
email.
That's a good
free.
idea as
Yeah.
far as
Yeah.
we to
Maybe
go
reach
to the
out,
park
get
district
the
and
park
try and get
district
the
emails.
emails
Yeah.
and see if there's a way to do that.
Absolutely.
Or if they would be
And
able to
it's
send something
free.
that already
Well, we
happened.
tried in the past to send our communication via
Right.
That's what you say.
Right.
I can see that in there as well too. Some piece of
It's really
communication goes
simple.
to the public.
Don't waste your money with any materials. Email is simple. Everyone has an account with anything, so you can't sign in without having an email.
A lot of old people don't have.
So to answer your question, two things were
You're right, but also they don't have a child attending, and it'd be nice to know what is going on. They want to know how we're not going to ask them for more money.
I think she has a question right there.
Well, there's another person on the list, so can we go back to you
Yeah,
after I'll write
sure.
you down? Chris Tolio.
Yep. What about the PLC time taking place in the morning, which would alleviate your problem with start time?
I mean, that's something we could look at, but keep in mind the day is going to start at 8:40.
I understand. I'm just trying to give you another option.
Thank you.
Options are good.
So let's scenario. I think you're talking about scenario 4. And the 55 minutes at the end of the day.
Yeah. Either scenario, to be honest with you.
Or you're actually talking about going grade, so trying to get back and forth.
Right.
So these are references.
Right, so this is 5. This is 5, that's right. Because we're talking about the grade centers getting back and forth.
Yeah, help me out here. I'm a little confused. So scenario 5.
Scenario 5, you had the 25 minutes of PLC time at the end of the day.
That's correct.
Right, so can you do the 25 minutes in the morning, and then the school just starts later, so then you don't have to worry about Ridgewood, all the kids going to Ridgewood and Lee and Giles at the same time.
That 10-minute window not being enough time to get from school to school.
We could take a look at it. That would require us to go back to the scheduling committee because that's a contractual obligation, and we can reassess it.
But then again, you also have the parents that have to go on to work that don't have the time to wait the 25 minutes.
I know, but I'm just throwing another option.
I know, I agree with you.
So
I'm
less
just playing
work.
devil's advocate. Everybody likes to do that. Because I got a chance to do it, so. there.
But Chris, let's put it in context. I mean, I brought this up at the previous meeting. I didn't really talk about it here tonight. We have a provider that's approached us. Union Ridge uses this. They just put in place where there's a provider that will provide before and after school care. In fact, they'll actually provide during the school care as well. So they'll actually provide this, and it would be at a cost. It would be at a cost with the parent as opposed to the district. Currently, we provide that service. So we have people that stay before and after school. Not as much as parents would like, but that's because we can't afford that expense.